What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Hardworking Happy Hour. I am Sean.
And I'm Catherine, and as always, we'll be breaking down all things trade, entrepreneurship, and turning your creativity into a passion career.
Yeah.
I think I said trade and not trades.
And it threw you off a little bit?
Yeah.
Okay.
Trades, plural.
Well, you made it through it.
I made it through.
Wow. I'm glad we're on the other side of that. It's a good start.
Yep.
And it's going to be a very exciting episode this week.
Yeah.
It's going to be very...
What are you talking about, Sean?
Well, what we're going to talk about... We're going to cover a couple things.
Okay.
We're going to cover a couple things that are fresh on our minds because, like usual, we're always trying to implement new things, and we have a couple fresh things on our mind this week in particular, and one of them is time tracking. And
I thought you were about to say time traveling.
Well, I was thinking maybe that for next week.
Oh, okay.
So this one's just time tracking, and kind of using that as a tool to get a better handle on your numbers and also evaluating where you can use more help as far as what you can outsource, what you spend the most time on, all of those kind of things, and when it's the right time to hire somebody for a certain task.
Yeah.
So we're going to cover that, and I thought we could also cover a little bit of what we're doing, working through our wait list, how we're going to kick off our projects for next year.
Okay.
Because I think we have come up with a pretty good method for really getting people jazzed up about hiring us, like making it a little bit more than just, hi, we build backyard, you pay. It's like more of it feels like an experience.
Yeah.
Everything
I hope
about
that's how it comes across. Yeah.
Yeah, and a lot of that's due to the very cool letter that you sent out to the wait list. But we'll get to that.
Yeah, we'll talk about that.
You want to...
I would love a beer.
Yeah. So I was at the store, and these Bud Light limes they were speaking to me through the glass. And
I don't think I've ever had a Bud Light lime before.
Oh, they're delightful. It's like one of those things that you're like, oh, what a loser, drink a Bud Light lime. And then you have one, you're like, this is actually pretty good. Yeah.
It's brewed with real lime peels, so all natural.
Delicious. Absolutely delicious. So, because I was kind of in the mood for like a beer this week. You know,
yeah, this is good.
I felt like we did a lot of work this week. We made a lot of progress. We should probably update people on kind of where we're at with our projects. And it just felt like a beer week. And then I saw the lime and I was like, what a perfect combination of hardworking beer juice and a little fruity flavor for some refreshment.
A little bit of fun.
A little bit of fun.
I like that.
That's what we're all about. So, how was your week?
It was a good week. It felt like one of the more productive weeks that we've ever had.
It was...
Coming hot off the tails of 10Xing, I guess, maybe?
Yeah.
That might have been it.
Maybe we're still subconsciously 10Xing?
Maybe. I feel like it was a mindset shift. So whether we're 10Xing or not, we have really...
It's ingrained in our DNA at this point. We are just 10Xers, I guess.
I guess we are.
So
it felt busy, and it felt busy, but in a good, productive way. Not like a bad, busy way.
So we have been on a job for like 2.5 months, and now we are waiting for some things to get done there that we are not doing till we can complete it. So we started another job, and we're at the framing stage, and framing is probably my favorite part. Yeah. I just love it. The whole project like comes together. You see the shape of it. Mm-hmm. And we've been there like 7 days now, and it's really, we've got an 800 square foot deck completely framed up. We've got the roof framed up. Roofers are coming tomorrow. We've got fireplace wall. We've got an outdoor kitchen. All of that's framed up. It's ready to go. Really, really went pretty well. So
I feel like framing days are always such a, like a little bit of a, like they throw me for a loop because I'm always like, we've done so, like this massive structure is like done in 7 days. We built this thing in 7 days. Why do these projects take so long? Because you built this huge thing and it's like, what's taking so long after this? But it's all the extra stuff that takes a while. But it does feel good to be framing.
The clients always think that too. They're like, I can't believe you guys are like almost done. I'm like, trust me, it's going to slow down really soon. Don't worry. We ain't going anywhere quick. But still overall, I feel like we planned this one out really well. All the material ordering, like everything was really prepped to ensure that it went really well from the get-go. So that's always good.
We set ourselves up for success on this one.
We did.
So.
Because we're always learning from our mistakes. And the last project, there was just so many changes, so many things that got added on the fly that it was something that you couldn't really plan for anyway. So I think it made us super hungry to get back to sort of like a regular job where we do know what we're going to be doing.
That job just started to feel like going to
like
a
we
job.
just work there.
Like we just work there. And it was like, okay, today I guess go, I don't know, you want to build a turf field? Sure, try that out.
And if we wanted to, I'm sure we could have turned it into that. Because they want us to just stay forever and keep doing stuff for them. Yeah. They're an amazing client, but yeah, it throws you for a loop after a while when you're on the same project. Yeah, when you're not used to that,
it's like, it feels...
So it's been nice to have a change of scenery, and it'll be nice to get back and finally put the finishing touches on that, because the after pictures are going to be really sweet.
Yeah.
Really exciting.
Definitely.
So let's get into the, as they say, the meat and potatoes.
The meat and potatoes. All right.
So let's start with the time tracking that we decided to do, how we're implementing that, why, and lead it off, because we kind of hashed it out. We spitballed some ideas of what we want to track, and then you came up with the whole system.
Yeah.
So I don't understand it. You explain it, please.
So we decided that we needed to track what we're spending our time doing more precisely. It's kind of, everything was just kind of ambiguous when we're bidding out jobs. It's just kind of like, this is how long it takes because that's how long we think it takes. But we wanted a more scientific, really nitty gritty, down to the hour kind of situation of like how much time we are spending on these jobs doing each separate task. So I created a whole spreadsheet system with little drop downs. You can choose who's doing what each day. So not only will we know how much time we're spending on these things, we'll know like how much time like Anthony is spending doing roof framing so we wanted to know nitty gritty details. And I think it's going to be great. I think it's really going to be a game changer. And
I think so.
Not only it's going to help to know these things, but I think it's going to just make us more mindful of just as we're doing it, we plug in like roof framing again. And we're like, why are we doing that for so long? Like what's happening right now? What can we do to make it faster? So in the long run, I think it's going to be great. But even in the short term, I think it's just going to be so good to be mindful of just kind of what everyone's doing. And we're even tracking our own stuff. Like if we're editing or just doing permits or business stuff, we're trying to track everything. So
that business miscellaneous category is really adding up.
Yeah. I'm thinking about dividing that into a couple different things. So, I think it's going to be good. And
I'm really excited for it.
We talked a lot about time management in our time management episode, obviously. So I think that this is, a way that we grew from that. Yeah. And I'm pretty proud of that spreadsheet. I got it color coded and everything. It's like...
What color is associated for Catherine?
I'm pink. Because
you're a lady.
Because I'm a lady.
It's very sexist of you.
Yeah, well, turns out I do just like the color pink. So
it's a nice color. We divided everything into every person has their own column. Yeah. And we divided the day because the issue I think that we had more than anything was we could always look back at old jobs and figure out how many days were we there, and see like the whole picture as far as that goes. But our projects they're similar to an extent, but they're also very different from one another. So I think this is going to help like really break down exactly what elements take the longest, because on these bigger projects, there's always like each one we kind of learn something new. It's like, oh, these details took way longer than expected. This is something that I kind of overlooked. So I think having that running tally is going to be a game changer for us. And like you said, it also just the fact that you're going to have to put something in that spreadsheet at the end of the day, it makes you more mindful of like, okay, let's actually do something. Yeah. Let's make sure that we are set up to be productive today because we have to record it at the end of the day. So I'm really excited for it.
Yeah.
And we'll break it down a little bit more. What we did
Okay.
was each person has their own column,
Yeah.
and then we divided the day into AM and PM.
Yes.
So instead of doing it like hourly, because our projects are really big, like we're on a project for, I'd say, minimum a month.
Right.
So we don't need it like 6.5 hours on this task, and that would be too hard to track. But we can look back at what each person did that day and say, okay, they spent the morning doing deck framing and, PM doing accessory framing, which
Yeah.
could include like building out a fireplace or building out an outdoor kitchen. And then there's also a notes section for
Yeah.
each column, which I think is great.
Yep.
So,
And I just do a little log of the what actually happened during that day.
Yeah.
So, and each person has different tasks. Like
yeah.
I have different tasks than you because we do different things, and then I have different tasks than Anthony and Jose and Tom because they all do different things too. So everyone has their own tasks assigned to them.
Yeah.
So I think it's going to be great. I'm really excited about it.
I think it's going to be the biggest thing to happen to Premier Outdoor Living since the invention of the deck.
Whoa!
Yeah, it's gonna be crazy. It's gonna be crazy. What do you think is gonna be like the biggest impact of this time tracking? Like, what is it gonna impact the most? Pricing, or give me your thoughts.
I just feel like it's going to do, like, I feel like it's going to touch a little bit of everything because not only are we doing this time tracking, we're also going to try to do better, like, weekly tracking of just what needs to get done rather than just letting things happen. Kind of like, okay, this is the next step. We're going to do that tomorrow. This is the next step. We're going to do that tomorrow. We also have another new calendar where we'll plan out our weeks, and this is what has to happen each day.
Yeah.
So I think that just getting into a mindset of more mindfully doing these things, that's just going to help us improve time altogether.
Yeah.
So
I'd say.
I think, and I mean, hopefully it helps us with scheduling. I mean, scheduling is always tough, and
Yeah.
we were looking for a way to get better with that, and I'm hoping
Yeah.
that helps this, but we'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
On that front.
I think it definitely will, because I think we'll just be able to, especially after we've tracked a couple projects, we'll be able to get a better idea of, okay, we're doing this 400 square foot roof.
Yeah.
That with all of the trim details that are associated with that, we're going to spend an average of this amount of time on it. So I think we'll be able to price it a little bit more accurately, but
Yeah.
also gauge the time
Yeah.
that it's going to take. So hopefully that helps our scheduling. We could really use it.
Yeah.
We could definitely really use a little
Yeah.
bit of improvement on the scheduling side. So
Yeah.
hopefully
I feel
that
like
helps.
pricing and scheduling kind of going hand in hand. We get a better grip on the
Yeah.
scheduling, it will help the pricing part too. So
Absolutely.
So
Yeah.
big improvements.
Big improvements happening here at Premier Outdoor Living.
Yeah.
The other thing that I think it's going to help us do is just identify what parts of, like, what tasks are taking the most time.
Yeah.
So for us, for example, editing is one of our tasks that, it's a regular thing that we do. So we can track, okay, this week we spent 12 hours editing. Then we can kind of do an analysis like, okay, this is becoming a huge bottleneck. Like, we shouldn't
Yeah.
be spending this much time editing each week when we could be doing other things either in the field or just working on the business in general. So identifying things like that we can either hire in or outsource, I think is going to be a really critical element to our growth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which kind of leads into our next topic of assessing when we need to hire someone else.
Yeah. What do you think?
Yeah, yes.
Yes?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Well, that's it for
I think,
that.
yeah, that's it on that topic. No, I think we're in a very comfortable spot, but I think that we need to hire a new carpenter.
Yeah.
Help us move along a little bit quicker.
I agree. I think we definitely have the projects are big enough to accommodate an extra person on site to help things move along.
Yeah.
It will just really emphasize the need to be organized and planning ahead so that we don't have like a bottleneck on site where, okay, these materials aren't here yet. We're waiting for that, so it's going to be a little bit slow. Okay, you do this a little bit. We can do a little bit of that. If we have the projects really planned out to a T and everything can move on like smoothly and there's no hiccups, I think an extra person would be great, but it just puts a little bit more pressure on us to make sure everything's lined up.
Right. Which is a good thing.
It's a great thing. Yeah. I perform the best under pressure. I only perform under pressure. You really have to like put pressure on me to do anything. So I agree. I think that is like our number one thing to grow the business is do the projects faster. Yeah. I think we can still add at least one more person to the crew and still be a one job at a time business, which it would be a humongous shift in our business model, in our just everything if we switch to multiple jobs at a time. So I think our priority right now is really just maximize like what is the most amount of people that we can keep busy on one site to get the jobs done the fastest. Yeah. Let's find out that limit.
I think we should, yeah.
It's exciting. Have you ever seen the show Nathan For You?
Yes.
Okay. One of my favorite shows of all time. But it's on Comedy Central and he does like, it's kind of like almost like a mockumentary style where he goes into real businesses but gives them like really insane ideas to improve their business. And there's one for a maid service that he goes to and he says, how long does it typically take to clean a house? And the lady's like, well, with 2 maids, it takes like 2 or 3 hours. And he's like, okay, well, by that math, that means 40 maids could clean a house in 6 minutes. So he gets they get 40 maids together and they plan out the whole thing and they clean the entire house in like 7 minutes or something. But we could do that. We could have 40 carpenters on site, build a project in like 3 days.
We'd be done so fast.
So fast.
We could work around the clock too. It'd be like tag teams.
Yeah, double shift.
That'd be nice.
Also reminds me of another thing that I started watching on Netflix, Instant Dream Home. You seen that?
I haven't seen it yet, but you've told me about it.
It's the most ridiculously absurd television program I've ever seen in my whole life.
Yeah.
And I really encourage everyone in the trades to watch that show. They come in and do a complete home makeover in 12 hours. It is like the most ridiculous, like hack job
And you said
I've ever seen.
Complete.
They're doing everything.
Like exterior, interior, paint, everything.
Whole nine. Yeah. It is so ridiculous. And
that gives me anxiety. I don't even like to think about that.
Yeah. It's really...
And who would want that? Like, what if someone said, Catherine, we will do your house top to bottom. It's going to be gorgeous. It's only going to take us 12 hours. I'd be like, absolutely not. No, thank you.
Well, yeah, you don't know about it. Somebody...
Oh, it's a surprise?
It's a surprise, I guess. I don't know, but it doesn't really seem like a surprise.
I mean, it can't be a surprise.
Yeah, that's breaking and entering.
That seems
Somebody
like
nominates him. I don't know. It's just absolutely absurd and ridiculous, and but it's kind of a fun watch if you're in the trades to just be like, this is insane. Anyway, I think we can take a little bit of that essence, and see how we can really maximize our efficiency and really churn through these projects.
Yeah.
I think that's a cool, exciting proposition for us.
And when you hire a new, let's say, carpenter, do you prefer to hire someone who has like a bunch of experience, or do you look for someone who's ready to be molded? I think it takes a while, and it takes away from productivity to train somebody for a while. So
it does.
What's your thought on that?
I think kind of a middle ground. You don't want somebody that is like so, ingrained in the way that they do things, because we do like a little bit of everything, and it would be really rare to find somebody that has experience like working for a company exactly like ours, like just doing outdoor projects. But those outdoor projects involve a huge array of different tasks. Like we have rough framing, we have trim carpentry, we have pavers, we have just everything, really. Yeah. So I think it'd be really hard to find somebody with all of those skill sets. So I think you have to find somebody with attitude, like a really good attitude, first of all. That's most important to me, I think. But also they have to have like that inclination towards doing stuff with their hands.
Yeah.
I think Tom's a good example of that. He didn't really have any experience building decks. I mean, he built his own deck and, stuff like that, but he's just like comfortable around tools, and he's really good at picking things up and not having to show him 100 times, just explaining it, showing him what it's supposed to look like, and he's like, okay, I got it.
Yeah.
Because
he's got a good attitude.
He's got a good attitude, yeah. And most of the stuff that we do, it's not that hard. You just have to have an attention to detail and care what the end result looks like, but like we're not doing we're not doing rocket science here. The techniques are pretty simple. It's just putting all of those simple techniques together, taking your time, making sure that it looks good.
Yeah.
And some people have that, some people don't.
Yeah, but I feel like maybe, you just feel that way because you've done it so much and you're so used to it. I feel like other people looking in feel like carpentry is incredibly confusing. It's a lot of math.
Well, it's like a little bit of math, but it's like the simplest math ever,
I guess. I don't know. I feel like everyone looks at everyone else's profession like, oh my gosh, that's so hard. But the person who's doing it is like, this is second nature. I don't know.
Yeah, I guess so. But I think, there you go. That's a perfect example of attitude. You got to have a can-do attitude.
True.
You got to be like, yeah, I could do this. No problem. But also have respect for the trade to say, you know what, I'm going to be willing to learn and be open. So
that's true.
That's something I think at this stage, we could really use somebody that is young, hungry, energetic, willing to learn, and that's going to do a little bit of everything. I think we could use another gopher, as they say. You know what that is?
A gopher?
Yeah, like go for
go
that.
For that.
Go for that. Yeah.
I don't know if that's like a nice thing, though. I thought that was like not a nice thing to call somebody.
Yeah, it's not.
Yeah.
But that's how you treat the new guy on a construction site.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like we need, the carpentry side is great, and Anthony and you, too, would be great mentors.
Yeah.
But I kind of feel like we need somebody who's more into hardscaping.
That's true.
That's my thought process.
It would be really nice to, because on the carpentry side, now that we have Ant, he kind of takes the lead on all of that stuff. Like, me and him will talk about what the objective is, what's the detail, how's this going to look. We'll talk through how we're going to achieve that.
Yeah.
And then that's all he needs. He can take that, show everybody else, come up with the game plan, and just execute it. On the paver side, I definitely have to be much more involved and really be leading the charge on figuring out our elevations and, really like coaching everybody through what the plan is for that project. So that would be a nice thing to have. Yeah. But at the end of the day, they have to be well-versed in everything eventually.
True.
And be willing to do a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
But I do think it would probably be easier to find a hardscaper that would be willing to do carpentry than a carpenter willing to do hardscaping.
Yeah, as experience would lead one to believe.
Yeah. No, it's everything's heavy. It would be a nice break for somebody that comes from hardscaping to be like, oh, I'm going to learn a little bit about carpentry. So that's a good thing. Maybe we'll look into that.
Something to think about.
Definitely something to think about. So we're still kind of working through the pros and cons of when we try to hire a new person.
Yeah.
I think with this time tracking, we'll get a better handle on our day-to-day, and we'll get a better handle on planning out the projects so that we can eliminate those bottlenecks of waiting on certain things, scheduling things. So I think after this project, see how it goes, see if we feel like we have a good enough grasp on our new systems, and then push to, maybe find somebody else and keep it moving.
Yeah.
Sound like a plan?
I think it's a great idea.
Okay, cool. All right, so I think that kind of covers our time tracking and all that kind of stuff.
Every time you say time tracking, I think you're about to say time traveling.
Not yet. Next week.
Next week
we might get into time traveling.
Ahead of myself.
But yeah, a couple of other things that we wanted to get into this week. That is very exciting, obviously. The time tracking, not time traveling, but our scheduling. Our schedule for next year. because it's approaching the end of August.
Yeah.
We have been talking about we've been talking about this wait list on almost every episode. Like,
Yeah.
you gotta list us about the marketing because we got this wait list. So now it's finally time to do something with the wait list, and I think we came up with you kind of led the charge on keeping track of the wait list, how we're going to, initiate the consultations and all that kind of stuff. Do you want to give a rundown on your plan?
Yeah, so we have had this wait list going for pretty much almost a full year now, I guess. Mm-hmm. And I've just been saying to people, we're booked through 2022. We'll put you on the wait list, and then, we'll see where we are for 2023, which in the beginning of the year sounded very impressive. Now we're like towards the end of the year, and I kept saying that, like, oh, we're booked to 2023. It's like, well, it's not that far away now.
It's not.
So, we felt that sense of urgency. So I decided we were going to set a date, which our date is September 20th, and that's when we're going to begin consultations. But I sent out a letter to, I think we had about 40 people on our wait list.
Yeah.
On our revised wait list.
Pre-qualified.
I pre-qualified. I had gone through it.
Everything.
Yeah. I'd gone through it a couple times to weed people out. Not in a negative way, but like, to get where we wanted to be.
Yeah.
So I sent out a letter, and I said, well, a letter's not a right word, an email. I sent out an email, and I just asked people if they were still interested. These are our budget requirements, blah, blah, blah. And asked them if they still wanted to work with us.
Don't just glaze over the letter that you sent out. The letter is kind of one of the biggest things of this.
Oh.
It was a nice picture
I formatted
on it.
Yeah, I formatted it so it was a pretty looking email.
It was a pretty looking email. It kind of was like a letter.
It was a letter
that was then attached
in an email. Yeah.
In an email.
Yeah.
But the letter is the whole thing. You really nailed it on that. You
Thank
had
you.
A beautiful picture of one of our projects, and it was like,
well, it didn't feel right to just send out like a blank email and be like,
Yeah.
hey, you still interested, when like Premiere's thing is design. So I was like, it has to
Yeah.
look nice. It has to look enticing. So it had a job of picture, or a job of a picture of a job. It had all
had
the
a job of a
information.
picture on it?
A job of a picture. So then I asked people if they were still interested, and some of these people have been waiting a year, so I figured, they might have looked elsewhere by now.
yeah.
So I got our revised from this new letter, the new wait list
Yeah.
for people who are still interested, and it's still pretty hefty. And on September 20th, that's when we're going to open our books to
Yep.
designs, which is still we had enough people respond back that they were still very interested and want to set something up tomorrow. They're ready to go. That it makes me nervous because you're still going to have to do all these designs for these
I
people.
know.
But
That's going to be another thing that we have to add into our time tracking is doing designs.
exactly.
What I'm doing, because you're still kind of glazing over, the wording of the email was so good.
Oh,
so I'm trying to
thank
pull
you.
it up. Here it is. Okay, it's got a beautiful picture of our project at the top. It says Premier Outdoor Living. And then it says, hello all. Thank you for your patience in regards to our wait list! Exclamation point. I know you are all probably eagerly envisioning your dream backyard makeovers, and we are grateful you have considered Premier Outdoor Living to make those dreams a reality. Another exclamation point. I love exclamation points.
I love an
Yeah.
exclamation point.
It's great.
You gotta.
I feel like if you don't have an exclamation point on any sentence, it just seems like you're mad at somebody.
It's dry.
Yeah.
Sahara Desert dry.
Like a sounds good with no exclamation point. Horrible. Yeah.
Doesn't sound good.
No. It's the opposite of sounds good. It sounds bad. And then it goes on to list that, we are going to start going through the wait list and scheduling consultations starting September 20th. All the other pre-qualifiers, which we've already gone over with these people, but, we want to remind them what the budgets typically are, the design fee, all that kind of stuff, and kind of walk them through how the process is going to work once we schedule the consultation with them.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's kind of a small little thing, sending out a letter to our wait list. It's like you could do it in a million different ways. You could say, hi, still interested? Or like, but that's kind of the equivalent of saying like, I don't know, like you up, You don't want that. This is like, we are engaging in a relationship with these clients and we want to get them excited about the experience. So I feel like this is a really cool way to like sum up the excitement that we have about our projects, and we want the client to share in that. And this is all part of the process, you know?
Yeah.
We want people to feel like we waited a year and a half to get Premier Outdoor Living to do our backyard. It was worth every second. The experience was worth it. All that stuff.
Yeah.
So,
and we're a small crew that works on one project at a time, and we really get to know the clients. Like, we spend so much time with these people now.
do.
I feel like they're our best friends. So
yeah.
I wanted to make it feel like a personal letter to these people who have been waiting for so long.
Yeah.
And most of them have responded with such like exuberance that they really, it was well received. So I thought that it was great.
I thought that was a great way to, because I'd really just been kind of putting the whole thing off. Like, well, let's not even think about the waitlist yet. No. But we did say initially we'd start reaching out again late summer.
Yes.
So we picked the last day of summer. it's the latest summer date that you possibly have.
Exactly.
But this way we will schedule all these consultations.
Yeah.
It sounds like everybody that replied, they already know how much the design costs. They're going to want one. And we'll go through all that, and we'll have our next year booked out before. I mean, we can't go out and say, like, make posts like our books are open, because we kind of have to tend to these waitlist people first.
Pretty much, yeah.
So it's going to be like kind of, if you want to hire us, you're going to always have to be on a waitlist of some sort.
Yeah.
Because we already have some people that are like, I want you to do it so bad, but we're doing, like the one person, they're doing an edition. It can't start till early 2024. And it's like, well, geez. All right. So it's kind of crazy, but I think this is going to be an amazing position to be in. Like, we're in the driver's seat.
Yes.
You know, we're not out there like, please hire us. Hire us, please. We're the best. Really, I swear. Like, people are coming to us, and they're willing to wait. And I think that's one of the biggest pre-qualifiers.
Yeah.
Besides money and all that kind of stuff. Like, the fact that they're willing to wait for us means they want us to do it, not somebody else. That's awesome.
Yeah. It's a great position to be in. And I was so happy. It has felt like we've been putting it off and, like, waiting and figuring out how we were going to do this. And it was so well received, and everyone was still very, very much like, yes, we want Premiere. So it felt good to finally rip off that Band-Aid, and it's gonna be a lot of work, but I'm excited.
Yeah, me too.
Well, I'm excited for you to do it, because you do the designs. But
can you learn how to do designs? You learned how to edit really quickly.
Yeah, maybe that's the next thing I tackle.
I think you could do it. I have a tutorial up on YouTube. Just watch that and get back to me when they're all done. I think it's a great position to be in.
Yeah.
It's a position of power.
It is a position of power.
But you know what comes with that? With great power?
Great responsibility.
Great responsibility.
It's true.
We need to make sure that we follow through on these huge expectations that we have set up. Not only have we put all this stuff online, we've hyped people up. We have put them on a wait list. They've waited a year. We've sent out this cool email.
And all the projects have gotten progressively cooler over the past year, so they keep seeing each project get cooler and cooler.
I know.
So expectations are high, my friend.
High as the sky, but you know what? With the right mindset, you can land among the stars.
Okay.
That was on, like one of those high school classroom motivational posters. Shoot for the moon, even if you miss, you'll land among the stars.
Something like that, yeah, but that's not right. There's no stars in between here and the moon.
Yeah, and even if you're among the stars, that means you're lost in space. That sounds horrible. Okay, well, something to think about on that one. I'm excited to see, and we will give updates as to how this process is going, how it's working out for us.
Yeah, and I'm interested to hear how other people do it too. So if you have a unique way of doing it, let us know, because I'm interested.
I think so. A lot of people, I think, just they're always out there selling and doing estimates and all that kind of stuff, and their they're not even waitlist, like their booked projects just keep getting further and further and further out.
Yeah,
and that to me seems overwhelming to sign a contract with somebody that you're not going to work for 18 months or something.
Yeah.
I'd rather, because a lot can change in your business and in the market and in the world in that time. So I think it's important to not commit to something and sign a contract that's over a year out.
Yeah.
So that's why I like the idea of having the wait list and doing the consultations in a condensed time period.
Yeah.
So it's like, this is design season. We're going to work our tails off, sell these jobs, and then we kind of put it away till next year.
Yeah.
And then we just focus on doing them.
It's good for you, too, to, I know how your brain works now, and I think that
You do?
designs
Can you
are...
please enlighten me? Still trying to figure it out.
Designs are hard, and they take a long time, and you really put a lot of effort into these
I do.
designs, and they take hours. So it's hard to... That would feel like a looming thing over your head if you had to do them constantly throughout the year. If you kind of batch... You don't sit down and do more than one in a day, so I'm not saying, like, batch them, like, back to back, but you kind of have, like, this season where you do the designs, and then that, you know, then you don't even have to think about it for the rest. You haven't done a design in months.
So long,
Because
yeah.
they were already booked, so...
Yeah.
So I think that that's a good way to handle that.
Hopefully I still remember how to.
I think you will.
You think so?
I think you will, yeah.
Okay, I hope
I
so.
believe in you, yeah.
I have done a lot of edits to designs. Like,
Yeah.
as we get closer to a project, you know, we might discuss, like, little changes aesthetically or, you know, moving something a couple feet. So... Still doing those type of designs, but it's been a while since I've done a design from scratch.
Yeah,
which,
full design.
I'm actually, you know, this is getting me excited for that.
Yeah.
It's getting me really excited for it because that's like such an exciting process. I get to
Yeah,
look
it's
at
nice
this
to be
blank
creative.
slate, come up with a cool picture, and really don't have to think too much about building it yet because that's so far away. It's just like I can design anything I want, and that's so exciting.
Yeah.
So, wow, we'll keep everybody updated on the wait list and the schedule and how that's all working out and how we're kind of working through it, because I think we're still trying to figure out, like, how's it going to work with... I can't just talk to 14 people and do 14 designs and say, all right, I'll have them all back in 3 weeks, you know?
Yeah.
We'll have to, like, okay,
But
you're
that's
first.
also, if it, like, yeah, yes, I think that's...
Yeah.
Because what you would do before is you would say, you'll have it in a month. But then every single one you were doing, like...
The day before. Yeah.
So I don't think we should do that anymore, but we'll figure something out.
Yeah.
We're
It's
getting
good for
so much better at our time tracking. We're going to have this.
I thought you were going to say time traveling. No, I didn't.
We haven't figured that part out yet, but once we
Time
do...
traveling?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the time tracking is going to really help with this.
Yes.
And I think
yes.
it'll be great.
I
And
think
also,
so, too.
Yeah.
I think
it's
so,
going to
too.
be great.
So many exciting things happening. How long, what do we got? What do we got on time here?
37 minutes.
37 minutes. Wow, we're getting so efficient with our ideas here.
Yeah.
What was that other thing that you wanted to talk about?
What?
I don't know. What was it?
I don't remember.
You had like a really important topic to bring up to everybody.
I did?
No,
Was
I don't
it-
think so.
Oh.
Was it what?
When we were talking about topics that we could talk about, I suggested burnout as one.
Yeah. Should we talk about the fact that you're burnout?
I'm not burnout. I have a migraine, and now Sean thinks that I'm like burnout and ready to...
And you have a
Find a new
staycation plan
job.
for Monday and Tuesday.
I think we should save burnout for a whole other episode on its own. So
You think so?
TBD on that, yeah.
Probably because you're
But
burnt out right now.
Are you burnout?
Me? I don't know. I don't think so. No. Maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know.
How do you
We'll
know?
figure it out.
Yeah.
Next
You let me
time.
know after your 2-day staycation, Monday and Tuesday, how reinvigorated you feel.
Okay.
And
I will
then,
do.
Maybe that will let me know if I'm
Yeah.
burnt out also.
I think that you should also take some days off.
You think so?
I realized in the year that I worked here, I have taken one vacation day. So
Yeah.
I think that that's not good for your mental health. I think that people should take days off. So
I might
that's
have
why I'm doing it.
burnout blindness.
Exactly.
I might be blind to the
So
burnout.
you should take some days off, reassess your burnout. I think that's good for everyone to do.
Okay, we'll see.
We'll circle back to it.
I don't want to, but we'll see.
All right,
I'll
secret
leave the
question
possibility
time.
open. Okay. I think I went first last week. You go first this week.
Okay, now that I'm thinking about my secret question, I feel like I might have asked it. Or you might have asked this one.
I don't know. Go for it.
Okay.
It's a secret, so I don't. How would I know?
If you could time travel, since
Yeah.
we talked about time traveling,
Oh.
to any time period, what time period would you travel to?
I don't think you asked that.
No?
I don't
I think you asked where I would go if I could
live anywhere.
live anywhere.
Yeah.
Maybe that was what I'm thinking of.
Or
Okay.
it was like if you could. It's not important. It's not
unimportant.
It's not important.
If you could time travel to any time period, where would you go? What time period would you go to?
That's a tough one. I feel like there would. Okay, so in this scenario, am I like fully immersed in the world, or am I kind of just like
Just
a
observing?
invisible bystander? Because the world seemed pretty dangerous back then.
That's a good
And
that's a solid question.
I look, different than they would look. So they would just be like, kill that guy right away.
What, like your clothes?
Yeah,
Or
just
like you as a person?
just like my clothes. Like if I just showed up in 1610,
Okay,
they'd be like, oh, this guy obviously is not from here. Stone him to death. He's the devil, So
Okay, you can time travel in time appropriate clothing.
Oh, okay. Still pretty dangerous most times of the world. I would say, and I'm just there for a little bit and I can leave whenever.
Yeah, you're just there. You're just there for a little vacay.
I would say the Roaring 20s.
Oh,
Yeah.
seems fun.
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
The Depression hasn't happened yet.
Okay.
World War I did just happen, but I think people have moved past that and they're ready to just roar. And people didn't know that stuff was like bad for you then, so they were just living carefree.
Yeah.
That just seems like such a good time. And you got the jazz music or whatever, or the swing. I don't know.
Everyone's smoking cigs and doing coke and stuff. Just.
Were they doing that? What?
I think it was like a prescription thing.
It was?
Yeah, they used to maybe it's just like for women. Like they'd be like, oh, she's that lady's a little crazy. What is that? There's a word for it.
I don't know. I didn't know this dark part of history.
I feel like every part of history has I could be a Debbie Downer for any part of history.
Yeah.
God, what is it called when women would? I don't know.
They were just bored?
Like a woman would be too emotional. It would be like a housewife who was being too emotional, and they'd be like, "Commit her. She's crazy.
Yeah.
Give her some coke. That'll fix her." One of those situations.
I wish you could still do that.
The 20s seem fun though. Like the fun stuff seems fun.
Yep. Okay. Yeah. So that's mine.
Okay.
It actually just brought up another thing that I just learned recently. You know the term gaslighting?
Yes, I do.
People use it all the time.
Yeah.
For like everything.
Yeah.
I didn't understand what it meant
meaning.
at all.
Yeah.
Recently I found out what the origin of that is from.
Okay.
It is because you were talking about, getting your significant other committed to a mental hospital. It was this movie, I think it was called Gaslight or something like that. And the husband didn't want to be married to his wife anymore. And he would keep messing with the gas lamp in the house and turning it on, turning it off. And she would be like, "Did you just turn that off?" And he'd be like, "No, I didn't touch it." And started convincing her that she was going crazy. Because divorce was not really a thing then. So he had to make her think that she was going crazy and then get her committed.
Wild.
Yeah, so I still don't understand most of the time when people are like, "That's gaslight." I don't know. Maybe I'm just a simpleton mentally that I can't understand these complex concepts.
I think gaslighting itself is very cut and dry. It's it's you're convincing someone else that they are unwell in some way, or
Oh, okay.
But people just say it all the time now for anything. It's if you're just slightly not a nice guy in a different way, people are like, "Oh, you're gaslighting." It's one of those terms that has evolved and kind of lost its meaning.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I just thought that was an interesting, since we're talking about getting people committed to mental asylums.
Yeah, we won't do that.
Yeah, let's not do that. Okay. So what is the time period that you would go back to?
I think I would go back to ancient Roman times. It seems like just lawless chaos, and I feel like that might be fun to live in for a while.
Yeah.
Just to experience.
Go to a gladiator event? You think you could sit there and watch that?
No, actually, I don't think I could.
People just stabbing each other and
Yeah.
I didn't see the movie, so I don't know what happened to Russell Crowe.
I was thinking of the movie 300. Have you seen that movie?
Yeah, Sparta.
This is Sparta.
Oh, no, wait. Did I say I watched that? No, I haven't seen it. I feel like I've seen it because I kind of know the plot.
Yeah. It just seems like lawless chaos. Everyone's got a purpose. Everyone's partying and doing crazy stuff. So that seems it just seems fun and lawless. I don't want to live there forever, but I just want to see it.
Okay.
I think that's what I'd go with.
Learning a lot about you.
Lawless chaos. Love it.
Lawless chaos. Okay. All right. You ready for my question?
Yep. Go ahead.
Okay, my question. What is a documentary that you would recommend to somebody?
Documentary I would recommend to somebody.
That
To
they
who?
must watch. To whoever
To
you
anybody?
want. Yeah, to anybody. Just one that made a big impact, like that you thought was really like, wow, that was interesting or impactful or changed my mind about something.
That's a great question.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
I feel like most of the documentaries that I've watched are about serial killers. I went on like a real dark, like deep dive
Okay.
about
Lawless
learning
chaos
about
and serial killers.
Yeah, and cocaine and mental institutions. Really,
Yeah, you're
it's peeking in my brain here.
Yeah.
No, there's all these podcasts about serial killers and like,
yeah.
I really got into serial killer, like the psychology behind. After all, I'm a psychology major who didn't finish college.
Me too.
But it's all very like psychology based. So I was very interested in that kind of stuff. So there's a lot of serial killer ones that I find very interesting, but I think that that's not great for the
a
general
recommendation.
public. I think the one that really made the most impact on me as a person was
I think I know which one you're gonna say. I bet.
what?
Blackfish.
Yes, that's
How did I
exactly what
know?
I was gonna say.
Yeah. I don't know.
That was so sad.
The
and-
floppy dorsal fins of the whales. Yeah.
Yeah, for people who don't know, Blackfish is about SeaWorld and all the killer whales that they have in their possession who have like
Don't call them that.
orca whales, sorry.
Yeah. That's so offensive.
Orca
to them.
whales. They're not
They're not killers.
In this case, some of them have killed people because they're like they go insane because they're just in these tiny little pools. And it's very sad.
Yeah.
And not only is it sad about SeaWorld, which is a place that I used to go when I was a kid and loved it because it was an opportunity to see animals. I didn't realize how like sad it was.
Yeah.
But then it makes you feel like it makes you think about how other animals are kept. Like, oh, it's not just SeaWorld that treats animals terribly. It's like a lot of places that treat animals terribly. So
Yeah.
that was very eye-opening, very sad. Bawled my eyes out on that.
Oh, that's sad.
Another interesting one about animals.
Tiger King.
I did like Tiger King too.
Yeah.
No, Grizzly Man.
What's that?
You don't know Grizzly Man?
No, I don't think so.
Grizzly Man is about a man who went and lived with grizzly bears for a while.
Oh, that seems dangerous.
Spoiler alert.
He died.
It doesn't end well. I don't know if I should, I think you can.
He was eaten.
He was eaten by him. Yeah. He was with these grizzly bears. He lived with them for like years and years and years, and fully immersed himself in these bears. He'd go I think it was every winter. He would like go and live with these bears, and they loved him, and he'd like wrestle with these bears. And then one year he brought his girlfriend with him.
Oh no. They didn't like that.
Ate them both.
Oh no.
Yeah. Sorry, but it was still interesting to see it's cool for people to interact
Do
with
you
animals,
see him
but
get
like
eaten?
also don't. No, you don't see him get eaten.
Oh, because they ate the camera too. Did they recover footage from that?
I feel like it was just audio, but there is like some sort of something. I watched it a very long time ago, but
There's like
I think it's audio of
the altercation.
if I'm remembering correctly, it's audio of the woman like asking for help.
Oh God.
Yeah, it's like dark.
Yeah.
Why is this getting so dark?
I don't know.
Anyway,
Everything about your answers right now is
I know.
dark and depressing.
Sorry.
You
I
need
can't
that
think of like
2-day
an uplifting.
staycation.
I feel like documentaries are always depressing though. What's your favorite documentary?
Okay, I got a good one.
Okay.
Genius. About
Okay.
Kanye.
Oh.
So good. So good.
But I can't with that.
What? Did you watch it?
I didn't watch it, but he's
Okay.
like another mentally ill person that's like,
Well, yeah. It's a 3-part documentary. The third episode is like, he has some mental issues for sure.
Yeah.
So that part isn't. It's interesting, I guess, but it's not like that part isn't great. But
yeah.
the part I love so much is the first two. It's like before he got famous. It's like he had this guy like follow him around and film everything about his life, like all the time, like way before he had like made it. And his unwavering belief in himself when nobody cared about who he was is just like so amazing.
Yeah.
It's like, it's very inspiring, the amount of belief he had in himself. And I think that is the reason for a lot of his success.
Yeah.
And, and then I think he's also bipolar. So like then that
Yeah, I feel like
came out. But
the delusion part of it is kind of
yeah.
upsetting.
Yeah, I guess so. But I think it's a really good example of how much you can accomplish if you just believe in yourself.
Yeah, I like that.
He believed in himself so much. It's super interesting. It's really, really an interesting documentary, and seeing the whole process of him going from like nobody to, I mean, and then at the end it gets like he's losing a little bit, but
Yeah.
highly recommend it.
Okay.
I was very inspired by it.
I'll give it a go.
You'll give it a go?
I'll
Okay.
give it a go.
I think everyone should, whether you like Kanye or not. He's a very polarizing figure, but it's super interesting, and especially the beginning, inspirational.
Yeah. I do find it very interesting that he like hired somebody to film him before he was even famous. Like he was so.
Yeah, he just was like, I'm going to be the biggest artist in the world.
Yeah.
And like he was saying that, and he just like fully believed it.
That's interesting.
Yeah. It was pretty cool.
Okay.
So that's what I got for that answer.
All right. Love it.
Does that pretty much wrap up our episode
I think
this
so.
week?
I think so.
All right, well, enjoy your 2-day staycation.
Thank you very much.
Hope it cures your burnout. And another thing I want to mention is if you check out our vlog this week, it is Catherine's editorial debut of the vlog. Start
Yeah.
to finish, edited the whole thing. Let us know what you think of it.
Yeah.
And round of applause for you. I'm very proud of you taking the initiative on that, and I think it turned out really great, but we will see what
Thank
the
you.
public thinks.
Yeah.
And see what the reviews are.
Ooh, we'll
Speaking
see.
of reviews,
We'll
leave us
see.
a 5-star review
Yeah.
on the podcast. It helps more than we know, because we don't really know what it does, but it helps.
It does. Thank you for the people who have left very nice comments.
Yes, and I guess till next time, this has been the Hardworking Happy Hour.
See you next week.